I'm sure all of you know what bird this is, right? Yeah, so we can see pigeons almost everywhere in the world, but how many of us actually take notice of other birds around us, and specifically migratory birds? So I'm Lynette from Playlock Creations. We are a Singapore-based tabletop game publisher. So I have a confession to make, because I'm neither an expert in birds nor games, but somehow fate has brought me to be part of a team that designed Fly Away, which is a board game about bird migration and conservation. So it is good for 2 to 4 players, age 10 and above, and plays between 45 to 90 minutes. So in this game, players strategize to help birds migrate along the East Asian Australasian flyway as they complete their migratory journeys. And the flyway spans from Russia in the north through Asia and then to Australia in the south. So Flyaway actually started out as a passion project. Why did we choose to do a board game? So let's be honest, not everyone likes reading, right? But most people like fun stuff. So we wanted to raise awareness about this relatively serious issue through a creative and fun way. So we chose board games as we think that is a perfect immersive medium. And most of the bird-themed games out there, they focus more on the bird watching, not so much on the migratory birds and their roots. So we realized that also Asia wasn't as well represented in the board game market. And since we are based in Asia, we wanted to, we chose why not do something that is closer to home. So given that we wanted to include accurate information about the birds, we worked with BirdLife International Asia to be our knowledge partner for the game. And Dr. Yongding Lee, our consultant from BirdLife, was involved right from the start of the game conceptualization. So as most of our team members are not bird experts, except for one of them who is an avid bird photographer, we are really thankful for Dr. Yong for imparting his knowledge to us so that we can bring the game to life as accurate as it can be. So birds are actually messengers of climate change, as they are very sensitive to the environment changes. Before we started on the game conceptualization, we knew that we wanted to include this information in the game. So firstly, the man-made and natural challenges that the birds face during their migration journey. The second is how we, humans, can help with bird conservation. And third, the migratory birds and their roots, because this is a game about them. So here you can see a game set up for 2 players. So each player starts with links. This is what we call the links, for plotting out the migratory routes on the map, and also 2 winged cards. So I will go into detail later. And then on the right, we have the bird cards. The middle, we have the map board, and then the left, we have the event cards. So on each of the bird card, we included information such as their name and scientific name of the bird, the start and end points. So you can see here Russia to southern China, and then the conservation status based on the IUCN, so all these circles that you see on the side. And then the average size of the bird, as well as a little trivia at the bottom. So to win, players need to collect the highest number of points from placing links on the map, completing migratory routes, as well as saving birds. This is a route building game, and players will place 3 links on the map on each turn. One of the core mechanics prompts players to look over a map of Asia, plotting the migratory routes of the birds. Players get points for not only completing the route, but also contributing to them. And although this is a competitive game, it also prompts for collaboration, as players can use each other's links when completing routes. We also looked for ways in which mechanics can dovetail with learning. So one example that we are proud of is called the North-South rule. And this is something that is happening in real life as well. So generally, birds do not fly back up north when they migrate in autumn, since they are flying away from harsh winter conditions. And as such, players are only allowed to count points for links that continue downwards in a north-south fashion. So in this example, there's a wrong way of saving bird, so you cannot make the bird fly back upwards. So yay, we have saved birds. But it's not all so smooth sailing for them, right? And here comes the foul play cards. So these are the dangers that the birds face during their journeys. And each time a player saves a bird, on their next turn, they need to draw one of these cards and resolve them immediately. These cards have effect that might deter players from their planned strategies. For each of the card effect, we link it to the nature of the event as close as possible. So here are two examples. We have the wind turbine collision. So birds often end up dead. As such, the players will need to discard one of the birds that they have saved. And then in typhoon, it disrupts the routes of the migratory birds, and players will need to remove 4 of their links that they have placed on the map. So in December 2021, Singapore had our first sighting of the cinereous vulture. So Singapore is not their usual pit stop, but it landed there because of exhaustion. And this is also one of our foul play cards. We also created the catastrophe cards, and this is inspired from the word catastrophe. And these are disastrous effects that affects all players. And while we recognize that these seemingly random events might be off-putting to some gamers, we still chose to include them in the cards in the game as a reminder that we should all do our part towards conservation before it's too late. So after all that gloom, these are some of the actions that we humans can take towards conservation, and these are through the winged cards. So winged cards reward players. When habitats are restored, players, it allows safer migration, and players can place 2 extra links on the corresponding habitats. So here you see a caged bird. This is a Siberian ruby-throat. When this happens in the game, when a caged bird trait card is on top of a bird card, it means that nobody is able to save the bird. And when we were playing this game with a group of naturalists, it evoked some emotions in them as they really witnessed this happening in real life. Yeah. So however, we know that there are good Samaritans out there, and with the Birders to the Rescue card, when this is played, you are able to free the caged bird and save it. So since the birth of Fly Away, we have ran several workshops and game sessions at institutions and events. So we hope that as people play the game, they will come to appreciate nature and birds more and play a part in conservation. So this could not only benefit the entire migratory birds population, but also entire wildlife and environment. So here you can follow our socials as we post updates, and that's the end of my presentation. Thank you.